All right.
Perfect. All right. Well, hi, Connor. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. So great to meet you and via Zoom. And I'm excited to help you with your new home. So today, there's three main things that I wanted to go over with today. First off, gather a few additional details about what you're looking for in your home. Go over the home buying process, and then see if we're a good fit to work with each other. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Perfect. So, it was nice talking with you last week, and so I got a bunch of information. So I wanted to just kind of go over that, make sure I have everything correct, and then fine tune and get a few additional details. Sound good?
Good.
Perfect. So it sounds like you are currently renting right now, for the next 3 months, and you're looking in the Dripping Lakeway area to purchase a home. Um, Tell me a little bit more as far as what you're looking for in your any other additional details that you're looking for in your home.
Yeah. So we are definitely looking for a 3 bedroom. We're in a 2-1 right now, and we're just cramped as can be. So we're definitely looking for a little more room. Um, so I'd say that's probably the biggest thing for us. And then yeah, I know Dripping Springs, Lakeway, that both sounded good. That's probably the biggest thing for us. And then coming down here, we have a couple months left on the lease, so we're ready to get moving.
Okay, perfect. So just like to ask a few additional questions because I'd rather ask you a lot of questions and see 5 homes versus taking a look at 500 homes and getting worn out. So,
Great.
tell me, ideally, what are you looking for? A newer home? Are you wanting um, a little bit of an older home? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, we have no problems with I don't know about older home. But something that's in the last 20, 30 years, that's fine with us. It don't need new construction by any means. In fact, we've seen some Instagram videos that make new construction look a little bit scary. So I think we're actually fine with something that's a little more proven at this point.
Okay, perfect. So you said you're okay 20, 30 years. So we're looking primarily about 1990 and above. What would you say
That
would,
would be great. Yeah. I think that's something we'd be more comfortable with for sure.
okay, perfect. And then tell me about what's your ideal flooring type? Do you prefer carpet, hardwood?
Yeah, I think we like hard surfaces in like common areas, but we'd still prefer carpet in the bedrooms. Not a fan of the cold floors in the wintertime.
Okay. And what's your ideal yard size? Do you like low maintenance or do you need a little bit more space between your neighbors?
Yeah, we think we'd like more room. I'm not someone who minds mowing the grass, so a bigger yard is not going to scare us off.
Okay, perfect. And now, ideally, you said you're looking in the Dripping Springs Lakeway area. You're needing at least 3 bedrooms. You're open to single story and 2-story homes.
Yeah, either one is fine. It's really more about the best fit.
Okay. And is there anything else in your home that you would like to have?
Um, just I guess we like a little bit more open floor plan. Not a huge fan of houses that have 50 doors. Don't want it super cut off. But other than that, really looking more, it's really more about that bed bath count and being in the right area. We're not chefs by any means, so I don't need the massive restaurant style kitchen or anything like that. So yeah, I think just the right size and the right area is really what we're looking for.
Okay. So basically, location. It sounds to you like location is the key.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect. Well, I can definitely help you out with that. And how are you currently looking at homes right now?
We've just been looking online. We were going to go to an open house last weekend, didn't end up working out. But we've been on obviously we were on your guys' website, and a couple other websites before that.
Perfect. So while you're looking at stuff on the market, so all the
Mhm.
stuff online is on the market stuff. I'm helping a lot of my clients. In fact, the last two, I found stuff off market for them. So I'm able to help. Um, I have different resources to help my clients find stuff that may not be on the market and be online. So
Cool. That would be
definitely
awesome.
with that. And now let's talk a little bit about the timeline. So you had mentioned your lease is up in about 3 months. From there, are you required to sign a new lease or can you do month to month?
No, we double checked after our conversation last week, and we can go month to month.
Awesome. Perfect. So we like to plan things in a perfect world, but I always like to have a plan B just in case. So if we start looking at homes now, it typically takes about 30 days for you to close on your home. So right now we're in December. Most likely you'll probably find something in January. It closes in February. And then when you close, your first month's mortgage payment does not happen until the following month.
Okay. Awesome.
So you skip a month, which is great.
Cool.
So we want to plan it accordingly. And so that 3 months fits in just perfectly with the timeline. And having that month to month is great because just in case it takes us a little bit longer to find you your perfect home, you have that opportunity to do the month to month to give you that wiggle room. That way we're not having to rush as well. Does that work?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, perfect. And you have already done a great job. Thank you for getting your pre-approval letter. Um, now, with that approval letter, did they tell you there's two things that I like to know? One, what you're approved up to, and then two, what is your comfort amount?
Yeah, so they did approve us up to 700,000. Um, you know, if it's possible to get closer to like 600, 625, I think that's probably ideal for us, but for the right house, we'd be willing to max that out.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's perfect. That helps me because that's number crunching. Because not only are we going to be looking at what your comfort zone is, but we also want to be looking at the taxes. And if the home is in a homeowners association, we need to take all of that into consideration. So if we find you a home that's in a very low tax rate, you may have a little bit more wiggle room in that comfort amount to still keep you where your target price, monthly price is going to be at.
Okay.
Now, if it's a higher tax rate, then we may want to go looking at trying to get you a little bit lower of the purchase price to keep you in your comfort zone.
Got it.
So those are things that I help with is to really number crunch to keep you where we need to be.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't even really think about that.
So I will be able to help you out with that. Now, since this is your first home, I always like to go over and explain the process from beginning to end. That way you know what to expect. So you've already done the first part, which is getting your pre-approval. So that is awesome. Um, so from here, we get to do the fun part, which would be taking a look at the homes. And I always like to have really good feedback. Let me know what you like, don't like about each home, because that helps me to get even closer if we don't find it the first time to really help you find it the second time we go out. Now, once you find the home, I typically will know because you have what's called the warm fuzzy feeling. Uh, I think all of my clients have had that. And so basically it's a home that makes you happy, you can see yourself in. And if we find this home that you keep comparing, we go to the next two or three homes and you keep thinking about the first one, that's the feeling that we're talking about. So even if you get it on the very first one, we're going to go see home 2 and 3 just to make sure that that's the right home for you.
Great.
So once you get that feeling, let me know, because then that's when I'm reaching out to the other agent and I'm finding out, do they have any other offers? How have the showings been? I'm going to give you what's called a seller's disclosure. So the seller is required to disclose everything about the home. I'm also pulling up the flood map. That's a big thing here in the Austin area. We want to make sure that the home is not in a flood zone.
Got it.
So I will, if the home is anywhere near a flood zone, I'm going to send you the map so you can see, make sure that's to your comfort level. I don't recommend that you're in a 100-year flood zone. That one, flood insurance is typically required, and just don't recommend it. But that's one of the things that I make sure that I send out to you ahead of time. So that way, we're not looking at homes that are in the flood, getting you excited and then it's to find out it's in the flood zone.
Okay.
So I'll let you know about that. I also give you a copy of a survey if that is available. And that shows you the boundaries of the lot line of the home. And it also tells you where you can and cannot build things. So if
Oh,
you're
cool.
building a pool, then we need to make sure there's enough space to do that within the survey.
Okay, cool. Would that like tell me if I could do like an ADU or something like that too?
So if you are wanting to do an ADU, yes, that it's gonna tell you if you can build one, if you can build the ADU.
Okay.
If you're wanting to do an ADU, we're gonna take a little bit more of a step, because if you are wanting to do that, then we're most likely going to want to look at homes that do not have a homeowners association.
Got it.
Most homeowners associations are going to restrict for you to be able to build an ADU.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that on the search criteria if that's something that's important to you. Are you wanting to build an ADU?
It's honestly not a deal breaker. Just thought it would give us some flexibility if a home doesn't necessarily have, everything ever that we wanted, but could give us some room in the future to do some more things.
Got it. Okay. Well, I've actually had a client that's very similar situation. And so when we're looking at homes, we just want to take out any homes that have that HOA, because the chance of it being in an HOA and them allowing it is a very slim.
Got
They
it.
may be out there, but I want to focus our time on homes that you're not going to run into that issue.
Okay.
Does
Sounds
that work?
good.
Okay, perfect. So before we're even writing that offer, I'm also I'm going to send you a CMA, and it will tell us to make sure that the home, it may be priced right, it may be priced under, to kind of give us a ballpark idea of where that home should be and where we should write the offer. And so it'll let us know if um, homes in that area are selling maybe 5 grand below ask, 10 grand, 20 grand, where that is. So that'll give us a good idea of where to put our offer. Now, once we submit our offer, the seller may come back and do a counter offer. So they may agree to a majority of the terms, but maybe there's one term in there that maybe it's the price that they do not like. And so they'll let us know, hey, we agree to all terms except the price. We're countering back at this. So once both parties agree to all the terms, then that's when it's an executed contract. And that's when it becomes official and we send it over to the title company.
Okay.
Now, once it becomes official, there's two important numbers that you're going to want to know about. One is the earnest money. So right now, the earnest money check is typically about 1%. So if we're
1%.
doing, let's say the home is about 650,000. So you'll need about 6,500.
Okay.
And you're going to need that within 3 business days.
Okay.
Now, the other check, and this is a Texas thing. Texas really protects all of its buyers. It allows you to purchase a period of time, typically 7 days. And most for the option amount, anywhere from about $200 to $500 is what I typically see. Now, if there's other offers, we'd probably do $500. If there's not any offers, probably do $200.
Okay, makes sense.
So what that does is it protects your bigger amount, which is your earnest money, that 6,500. So during that time, we do a home inspection. Home inspection will just depend on the size of the home, if it's a single story, two-story, and the age of the home. And I've seen the home inspection be anywhere from about $400 to $500, just depending on the inspector that you use. Now, the inspection fee is going to be the only fee that you pay that's not in the closing sheet that your lender provided.
Okay, that makes sense. So, within the first week, it looks like I need to have about 7 grand ready to go just in case.
Correct. So
Okay.
I always let people know because some people will have their money in an online account, and sometimes it takes 3 to 5 business days for it to get transferred over. So
Okay.
before we start looking, have that money set aside just in case.
Okay. Okay. That's good.
Now, let's say we go, you find your home, have that money set aside because you're going to give the earnest and option money to the title company. Now, then from there, we're going to order an inspection. Inspector is going to go look at the home. They're going to look at the roof, the foundation, electrical, plumbing, all the main components of the home. And from there, that's where we can do a second negotiation. So anything that's not working properly, any kind of safety hazards, I'm going to go to the seller and say, hey, you need to fix this before we move forward. Now, worst case scenario, I haven't had this, but it's in there for a reason. If the seller says, if we find out it needs a new roof, the foundation is not working well. It needs maybe a $60,000 foundation repair. AC is not working. There's several, electrical components that are not working properly. And the seller says, nope, I'm not going to fix anything. That's where I would tell you, run away. And
Okay.
this home is not worth it. I know you love it, but you'll find a better one.
Okay.
And so, worst case, that $200 stays with the seller, but you get your 6,500 back.
Okay.
Now, we just have to let the seller know by the end of the option period, which is by 5 o'clock of that 7th day, or whatever day that we put for that period of time that we put on the option. Now, most of the time, it works out where I'm able to negotiate with the seller for the needed items and the safety issues for the seller to fix.
Okay.
So both that earnest money and option money will be applied towards your closing costs at the very end.
Okay. So that option money doesn't just go to the seller, it actually goes towards the transactions. So,
Correct.
okay, great.
If you move forward.
Great.
So once we negotiate, the seller agrees to fix we'll do a repair amendment. We have the seller sign off. You will sign off on agreed upon before the end of the option period. From there, we have our transaction coordinator that's helping out. Her name is Beth, and she helps. She is going to be sending you several emails with reminders of what to do throughout the process. And then, so from there, the next step is we will order an appraisal. That's when you can also start shopping for homeowners insurance. And we always have recommendations at that point as well.
Okay.
And then I typically will negotiate for the seller to pay for your home warranty. And what the home warranty is it basically covers the mechanicals of the home. Even if the home is functioning right when you move in, sometimes things happen. So if the biggest one is the AC unit. And
Mm.
so you could be living in the home 6 months go and the AC just the condenser goes out. I've had some home warranty companies replace that, which is a couple grand. I think it's
Wow.
$4,000. So I'll definitely recommend some great home warranty companies that have actually covered the AC, which is one of the biggest expenses.
Awesome.
So from there, we'll be sending you some recommendations for the home warranty. We will schedule a final walkthrough. So before you close on the home, we're going to walk the home, make sure that the seller completed any necessary repairs. We can visually inspect the repairs. I will get receipts for those, but anything that we need to visually inspect, we'll be able to do that at that time. And then we'll schedule a time to close. So we'll go to the title company and sign the paperwork. Plan on about an hour. And you will actually take possession once both you have signed and the seller has signed and the transaction has funded. So sometimes
Okay.
even after you've signed, it still takes a few hours. So I always like to let you know up front, just in case, so you don't have a moving truck ready to go right after you sign. So
Okay.
you typically will get keys the same day, but sometimes it does happen a little later.
Okay. Okay.
So
So plan on the next day just to be safe.
just to be safe.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
So any questions about the process?
No. No, I think that makes sense. I didn't know about the option stuff. That was interesting, but it sounds like it all go towards the deal anyways. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, perfect. So the next step is the fun part. So I would love to work with you if you would like to work with me. Next step is just to sign the paperwork to put me to work. And so the National Association of Realtors and my broker require that I have the document signed. And I actually like to go over it with you in person. That way I can answer any questions and we can go over everything in more detail. Sound good?
That sounds great.
Perfect. So let me pull up these documents here. All right. Can you see my documents?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So there's 5 documents that I'm going to go over with you. Now, the first one is information about brokerage services. Now, this document, so Texas wants you to know you have the right to use a real estate agent if you're buying a home,
Mhm.
selling a home, and as an intermediary. They want you to know one big thing is in Texas, one agent cannot represent both sides. So that's the biggest one. I know California and New York, one agent can represent both sides, but not in Texas.
Okay.
Texas wants you can have the same brokerage represent both sides, but one agent has to be representing the seller, and I'm going to be representing you as your buyer's agent.
Okay. That makes sense.
So they want you to know who you're working with. So I have my brokerage information, license information, email, and phone numbers. We have my supervisor's information and my information as well.
Perfect.
So we have that document. The next document is general information and notice to buyers and sellers. So these are all standard Texas documents, and things have come up in the past, and all this document is just terminology and definitions. They want you to be familiar with what some terminology that you may be coming across through this process. So the biggest ones we'll go over: appraisal. So because with most people, they are going to have an appraisal on the home, and what the appraisal is it's the valuation of the property at that time. The lender is going to order that, and the lender will only loan up to the appraised amount.
Okay.
Now um, we have compensation, and so that's how I get paid. That's how the other side gets paid. Environmental concerns. The biggest ones here is if you're looking at any homes prior to 1978, we're gonna give you an addendum or a different disclosure from the seller. So the seller will have to disclose if they know about any lead-based paint in the home.
Okay.
Expansive soil. So this is going to be a big one for the Austin area. There are certain parts throughout Austin that have the soil is a little more clay-like than others.
Okay.
Homes on the west side of the 35 tend to be more on limestone, so there's not as much movement.
Got it.
Homes on the east side of the 35, there's a little bit more movement, and it's just you want to have proper maintenance. So no matter if you're on the west side or the east side, the best thing for you to do to prevent that is to have gutters and to maintain the soil at a to maintain it. So typically having sprinklers will help protect your soil
Got it.
and prevent the foundation issues. The FERPTA, I've only had this once, and this basically, if we find a home and the seller does not live in the United States, they're in a foreign entity, or a foreign person, then you have to collect the taxes on their behalf. Typically, title will help with this if we get in this scenario, and I'll walk you through it in a little bit more detail if we get there.
Okay.
All right, so the next one, flood hazard, floodways, and flood insurance. So this is a big one in Texas. Before we're writing an offer, I'm letting you know if the home's in a flood zone. If it's in a 100-year flood zone, most likely it's going to be required to have flood insurance. There's 500-year flood zone. That one does not typically require flood insurance, but I'm going to let you know about it if you're in that flood. The best one to be in is out of the flood zone completely. Historic or conservation districts. So if you do purchase a home in a historic or conservation district, you will be required, if you're trying to do any kind of improvements, you have to get that permission from the city before you do that.
Okay.
Inspection, repairs, and walkthrough. We'll have the home inspected, negotiate for repairs, and complete a walkthrough before you close.
Makes sense.
All right, mandatory owners association. So that's the same as an HOA. And if the home is in a homeowners association, then we typically will get a copy of all the documents for the rules and regulations before you close on the home. It's important that you look over the documents as soon as you get them, because you have 3 days to look it over. If for any reason there's something in there that you just don't agree with, please let me know. So that way we can terminate the transaction if there's something in there you just don't like.
Got it.
Mineral interests. So over here, you don't own the mineral rights. So if you find diamonds, just don't tell anybody about it. Multiple listing service. So that is pretty much everybody. A lot of people take a look online. So all brokerages, everybody listing their home online, you're going to have access to. And that's what I'm giving you access to as well. Permits. So if you're wanting to do any kind of work to the home, you're going to have to pull a permit before you can do that. You take possession of the home when it funds. So not after you sign, when it actually funds.
Got it.
Property insurance. So you want to have the home insured. just in case for fire, hail damage, things like that. And you can shop around for property insurance. Property values, so prices do go up, they do go down. I am going to review what's called a market analysis with you before we write any offers, so you know what the valuation is at this time.
Okay.
Residential service contract, so that's the home warranty. I typically negotiate that for the first year. If you would like to extend it after, you have the option to do so. You just have to pay for it after the first year.
Okay.
Restrictions on property near an international border, we are not near that, so that would not apply. School boundaries, I'll let you know what schools feed into the home as of now. It can be subject to change at later dates if they rezone the schools.
Okay.
Septic tank and on-site sewer facilities. So from the homes that we had gone over, it doesn't sound like you're gonna look at any homes with a septic tank, but if we do find one that you like, it will have just an additional inspection.
Okay.
Sex offenders, criminal activity, it's everywhere. So there's a website right here that you can go to if you want to look the specific home up with more
Okay.
information. Square footage. So I will let you know the square footage of the home. If it's from the tax district, if it's from an appraiser, it's typically listed online where they're coming up with that number. Tax district. So I will let you know what the tax rate is at this time. It is subject to change. From the last few years, most of the tax rates have gone down, but that can change. Now, this is a big one, surveillance. A lot of people now have Ring doorbells. That's the biggest one, but they also have cameras inside. So when we're looking at homes, I love to get feedback. So I like to hear that the backyard is too small, too big. But if you absolutely love the home, we're going to wait to talk about it till we're done with all the showings or we're at a vacant home. Because it's like poker. We don't want to give up our cards. And then that hurts my negotiation if they know you absolutely love the home because they were watching you.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Survey. So that is, I'm going to give you, if the seller has a copy of the survey, I will show you. So that will show you the building lines. Don't have to really worry about stucco here. Most of the homes are brick and stone. Tax prorations. So how that will work is when you go to close on the home, the seller is paying for their time in the home, and then you're going to pay for the remainder of the year. Title will typically collect either last year's tax, they'll use what the estimated taxes are for this year, or they typically will pull from last year, and then they do a daily amount to come up with the proration.
Okay.
Termination option, so that's that option period, that's 7 days.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about tidewaters, title insurance. So once you go under contract, it gets sent over to the title company. Title company kind of has a dual. Here they are kind of the middle person representing the contract, but they also provide the title insurance, making sure that somebody's not going to come knocking on your door a year later saying they're the rightful sellers of the home.
Got it.
Utilities. So we'll let you know, we'll gather from the seller which utilities feed into the home. Really don't have to worry about water level fluctuations here. And water wells, same thing. If you find a home with a water well, you're going to have a separate inspection. But most of the homes you're looking at don't have that.
Okay.
Now, the biggest one is wire fraud. So just know I will never send you any kind of wire information. That typically comes from the title company through a secure email. And you want to take an extra step. Once you receive that, you want to don't call the number on the email. You're going to go to Google. Google the title company
Mm-hmm.
and call that number.
Okay.
Verify the wire instructions before you send the money. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Please reach out to Beth. We are here to help because we want to make sure you're sending the money to the right place.
Okay.
They're trying to get a little sneaky, making it look like it comes from the title company, from the
Mm-hmm.
realtor. If the amount does not look right, please reach out to me and ask.
Okay.
Any questions on any of these?
No, that was pretty thorough.
Perfect. Okay. So next one that we're going to go over. And this is the buyer representation. This is the document that actually puts me to work.
Okay.
So here I'm going to fill out your information. Here's my information. Now, these are the counties that I service. If
Okay.
throughout the process you end up telling me your job is now sending you out to Dallas or Houston, well, that's great. I just don't service that. I can absolutely recommend amazing agents in those areas. I just can't let you. Don't know those areas, so I can't help you there.
No, of course.
Term. So we would put today's date, and I typically do it for a year out.
Okay.
Broker obligations. So my job is to not only help you find a home, but it's to protect you and your investment. I'm here to help you negotiate not only on the price, on the repairs, and help you get all the way to closing. Make sure you understand the whole process and make it a smooth and fun time. Client obligations. So if you go into an open house, make sure you let them know that you're working with me. If you decide to go, if you're driving by and see a brand new home community, when you're walking in there, make sure you let them know that you're working with me. Ideally, I'd like to know ahead of time before those brand new home communities. That way I can schedule an appointment. We can go look at it together.
Okay.
It also says that we're not going to go looking at homes on Saturday and then you go and write an offer on Sunday with Betty Sue or a different realtor. So that's basically your obligations.
Okay.
Now, broker compensation, this is how I get paid. So I get paid 3% of the sales price. Now, as of now, I have been able to negotiate for the seller to pay for my services. Now, in the event the seller is not able to pay for the 3% or offering the 3%, you may have to come up with the difference. So, for example, think of it like insurance, or if you just had surgery, you can go shop around, get your great doctor that you want to use, and you give them your insurance card. Now, most of the time, the insurance is probably going to cover a majority of it. And if they don't cover a portion of it, you're probably going to go back to the doctor and renegotiate and see what they can do. So, as of now, I haven't had this, but if for any reason they're offering less than that, then we'll talk about that at that time.
Okay.
Now, if for some reason we walk through the seller's offering more than 3%, then I'm also going to let you know about that because we're going to do an amendment. And so I'll let you know if the seller is offering more than the 3%.
Okay.
My compensation is also earned and payable when you close. So I don't get paid till we actually fund from the purchase of your home.
Got it.
Additional compensation. So some agents will receive so that goes with the additional compensation. So for example, if a builder is offering an incentive to an agent to go, I'm not trying to push you a certain way. I'm going to let you know that that builder is offering that extra compensation. Hence why we will sign that amendment ahead of
Okay.
time, just to
Got it.
keep you in the loop. Protection period. So if we go look at homes on Saturday, you're not writing an offer on Sunday with another agent. It just protects me just so if we're looking at homes, you're not writing an offer with another agent for at least 30 days.
Okay.
All right, representation. So here you were just basically saying you have the legal capacity to sign this contract. You are not working with another agent. You're not working with a relocation company. Are you doing any of those?
No.
Okay. Intermediary. So I checked this box. This basically says that when I send out homes to you, I'm also going to send homes from our brokerage. Now that agent's going to be representing the seller and I'm representing you.
Makes sense.
Competing clients. Now I haven't had this, but it's in here for a reason. These are all standard Texas documents. If I have two clients that absolutely fall in love with the same home, I'm going to let you know about it. At that time, you can let me know if you feel more comfortable working with another agent on my team, or if you feel comfortable with me representing both parties. So we'll discuss that if that does happen.
Okay.
Confidential information. So everything that you tell me is going to stay confidential. I'm not going to go telling the seller like, oh yeah, they can, they can come up a little more, things like that.
Okay,
Now,
good.
mediation default attorney fees. So in the event we ever come to some kind of disagreement, they first want us to go to mediation before that to get everything settled.
Okay.
Limitation of liability. So as we're walking through homes, if you slip and fall, I am not liable. Typically the seller's homeowner's insurance would be.
Okay.
Now, additional notices. So we have to, as realtors, we have to abide by the fair housing laws. And then let me see, this one kind of shrunk a little. There it goes. Okay. So this one says, I am working for you as your realtor. I'm not an inspector, appraiser, CPA. If you have a really good question that's outside of my scope, I have a ton of people that I can refer you to. I just can't answer the question because it's outside of my scope.
Okay.
And then this one, it does recommend that you have that you purchase a residential service contract, which is the same as a home warranty. I typically get that covered for you for the first year.
Okay.
When viewing a property, you may be recorded. So again, that goes with the surveillance. And then it goes over wire fraud again. It is a
Okay.
big thing. So any questions on any of this?
No. That makes sense to me.
Perfect. All right. So last few documents. Wire fraud is not a joke. It has its own document. So
Okay.
please, again, if you see any kind of emails that just don't look right, please reach out to me.
Okay.
And the last one, affiliated business arrangement disclosure. This is from our brokerage. They just want you to know that they own one real title and real mortgage, and they are affiliated with them.
Okay.
And so that's how they collect the fees. And then this one is for real title.
Okay. Do I have to use them?
So you do not have to use them, but so real just needs to disclose whether you use them or not, that they are affiliated.
Okay.
And if you do end up using them, just know that real does receive a compensation, and these are the ranges of compensation.
Okay.
All All right. So any questions?
No, no, that made sense.
All right. Perfect. Let's see here. Okay. So the next step in the process, what I'm going to do is I am going to send all of the documents for you to sign.
Okay.
Once you get that signed, that puts me to work. I'm going to put you on a property search. And then we get to do the fun part. Um, we get to start looking at homes. So when
Awesome.
is typically the best time for you to take a look at homes? Is it on the weekend or weekday?
I mean, weekends is ideal. I could probably do after 3:30 on weekdays.
Okay, perfect. And you said after 3:30 on the weekdays, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. So why don't we plan to go this Friday at 4?
great.
So from here, I'm going to go ahead and sign those documents. I'm going to put you on the search. And then what I'll do is let me know your top 5 homes that you want to take a look at. And while you're looking at those, I'm going to be looking at stuff off market. I can go ahead and schedule the appointments with the sellers. And once I have those appointments scheduled, I'll shoot you an email to let you know which home to meet at. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Perfect. Well, awesome. Well, I look forward to helping you with your new home and look forward to meeting with you on Friday.
Awesome. Thank you, Eileen.
You're welcome. All right. See you soon.
All right, bye.